So you already know, man. We gon' talk about this. Like, I've seen a lot of people talk about this. I've seen a lot of people take the take of, he messed up and all this type of stuff, and that's kind of what's been going on. What I've been seeing. So let's go straight right into it. Basically, you know, Dennis Schroder was obviously a free agent this year, and Dennis Schroder was someone who betted on himself. Normally, when you see people bet on themselves, it actually pans out. But, you know, because it's the Lakers and because of all that type of stuff, they're looking at this with a magnifying glass, and they're gonna abuse it even more than it needs to be. So, just giving context, obviously Dennis Schroder, like I said, was a free agent. The Lakers offered him 84 mil. I don't know if it was 4 years or a 4 year 84 mil contract is what they offered him. And at the time, Dennis Schroder, declined it and didn't, sign the contract because he thought he could get better. And better would have been, 100 mil, I think is what he was looking for. 100 mil, probably 4 year. That's basically around something there to max or something like that. That's what he was looking for. So when you look at it, man, from that perspective, like obviously in hindsight, it looks like Schroeder made a horrendous move and he needs to fire whoever is the agents with him and all of this type of stuff and this, that, and the third. But I look at it from, just a different standpoint. I look at it that, yes, maybe he might have, tested the market and tried to get 100 mil but couldn't get it. That may be true. But I also, when I look at it, I'm just like, basically, at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, he did decline the offer. And even if he doesn't get that actual offer, you could think further with deep level context and be like, you know what? At worst, let's say no one signs him, someone wants to sign me, but it's for less. Let's say it's 70. Let's say it's 60. Y'all didn't even give it a year. Y'all don't even know. Watch next year. If he balls out, it could just be like, oh, look at this. Basically it panned out. This man betting on himself, took the long road, whatever, and people will celebrate him. But then right now, the fact that he declined 84 mil, and I know a lot of it has to do with Laker attachment, but the fact that he declined 84 mil, people are like, you crazy, fire your agent, do this and this and that, and just basically roasting him and saying that he's tripping. But at the end of the day, betting on yourself sometimes could be a year project, sometimes it could be right away, and you got to look at it like he got less money, but if he goes like he went to the Celtics, and they always tell you even a hand at that time, you would know of all scenarios that this could go wrong, all scenarios that this could go good. You kind of like naturally look at that, and that's what I would expect. So just to have the situation happen where he bets on himself, they probably told him that, okay, you know what, there is a chance. Or there might be a possibility. What if you get, they want you at 100 mil? Great. But what if they want you at 60 mil? What do you do then? Right? Because you can't go back to the Lakers. They offered you and you declined it. So what do you do then? And they probably had a chain of, this is the solution in terms of if I go like this and this is how it happens and I don't get the same ballpark or the same money or whatever the case is, and I'm lowballed or whatever happens, right? Because you know how my play in LA was or whatever the case was, right, with the Lakers. If that's being hindered, then at the end of the day, you sign what he did, the lesser money. You signed the lesser money, and you signed the lesser money betting on yourself that you're going to snap, and it's basically contract year for you again. And then you now sign the 100 mil, the 110, or whatever the case is. And then people will be like, that was a great move and did it this and that. But in hindsight, in the moment when it happened, y'all were roasting him. And that's what I be talking about. Like, man, like you have to let stuff sometimes play out. Sometimes it's not saying that it always plays out in your favor. And obviously concerns and worries. And yeah, that's obviously true and all that type of stuff. But, they probably definitely discussed with him that there was a possibility that you don't get the 100 mil. And that's what he did. He's basically was like, okay. And I promise you, he knew that if it doesn't happen, the route I'm going to take is I'm going to have to just bet on myself again and trust myself. Sign a 1 year deal, 5.9 mil with the Celtics. Kemba's gone. I'm the main point guard and all that type of stuff. And if I snap, especially as a starter, you're playing with guys who don't necessarily always need the ball in their hand in terms of Jaylen Brown, in terms of Jason Tatum. And let's say your trio now becomes better than even the Kemba Walker trio. What happens then? Now people will look at you as, oh, you actually are an all-star caliber guy. You actually could be the face PG of this of a franchise or my franchise or whatever. And then what happens? What if he does now do and he gets the 100 mil? What if he does now get the 112 mil? Whatever the case is, right? Similar to it, maybe 90, maybe whatever. Are y'all really gonna say the betting on himself didn't pan out? It was stupid. Fire your agent, whatever. And you know what I mean? You're not gonna really say that. So that's why for me, I more so was going to wait. I actually understood him disappear if he trusts himself so much, and I rate that confidence when you could bet on yourself instead of just biting on, a 4-year 84 mil deal when I could come back 1 year later and get a 4-year 90 something or a 4-year 100. You know what I mean? That's is different. So I'm not ever gonna knock Dennis Schroder on his decision making to do that. I know a lot of people have. I'm not gonna knock on him. I've been watching a lot of people just basically roast him and and do all of that. But at the end of the day, you gotta really understand that this could turn out great. This is not something that's guaranteed. Fugazi. This could turn out great. You could have a great your breakout year. You know what I'm saying? You could and it changes everything. Things change yearly, they change weekly, they change daily in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So I always thought this from the beginning that yo, you bet it on yourself. It didn't work out because it's in the same off season, but it might work out in the next season. Train even harder. Do this even harder. Trying, you know what I mean? And that's that's the best case scenario for Schroder to actually be in Boston, to actually, know Kemba. Now it's me. So obviously he's going to have to figure it out in terms of the sets and whatever. But at the end of the day, the keys is his in terms of being a point guard. So he could showcase ability. He could snap. Now that's also something that's not being talked about is the fact that, him betting on himself and going through all this social media reckless uproar that now the next games he plays, he's so anxious and so eager to just go to work, his contract year, and the pressure is at its utmost high. Basically for Schroder, every game is going to have to be looking, feeling, or like a playoff game because, he has to snap the whole season in order to get back that money and more on top of it. So sometimes you have to just bet on yourself sometimes, and it just goes like that. It goes like that. But again, like I was saying, you don't even know the pressure that is on Schroder to make that money is high. You know what I'm saying? Is very high. And then you got Schroder he might overthink things, right? Every game because of the pressure, every game because of this. He might overthink things, overthink passes, overthink shots. You might go in a situation where, you're extra nervous, you're extra anxious, your palms are sweaty more often because it's he needs this to get that money back. So every shot for him is not the same as other people's every shot, right? In the back of his mind, in the front of his mind, is always go to work, snap, 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 so you get your money back, right? And that could affect the Celtics. You never know. But I think that he'll be good. I think he'll have a solid year. I think he'll actually have a great year with the Celtics. You know what I'm saying? If they make the playoffs and all this type of stuff, and it could change the whole narrative. The whole narrative could change. Sometimes it's a year-long process. So when you look at it from that perspective, man, I'm not gonna take the route of just ethering Dennis Schroder. Obviously, maybe in hindsight he takes the 80 mil, but like I said, there's also another world where you could bet on yourself. Van Vliet has done it. There's multiple guys, a plethora of guys who have done it, and them doing it obviously changed everything. So you bet on yourself. Van Vliet got his bag, and all these other guys that because you trust your IQ, you trust what you do, you trust everything, you trust your ability, you trust your ability, and you trust in everything, and then you basically go to work, and your life could change just like that. And I rate his attempt to do it, even if it doesn't work or not. The fact that he had he had the balls, the cojones, to take that type of risk is not something everyone understands, man. It's not something everyone understands. So I do rate him for that. Whether he dropped the ball or not, I think it could be deeper than that if he snaps this season. You know what I'm saying? Are you really gonna go 4 years, 80 mil, be unhappy knowing that, and be stuck in a box because you signing out 4 years with the Lakers. You're stuck in that non-PG type of playing type of role, and that might hinder you forever, especially for your next contract. So it's more than just the money. I think for Dennis Schroder, I think it's also the fit, the situation, usage, being able to do more. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wants to be on the forefront, and he's not going to be able to have that with the Lakers. So, and the fact that they're not paying him 100 mil just was, I could just go to this place and search for them, and see if they put, and see if they give me the 100 mil. And if they don't, then, investigate, do X, Y, and Z. And at worst comes to worst, do what he did. Drop the 5 point, get the 5.9 deal in terms of the Celtics 1 year, and you go from there. So, we'll see how it transpires. Again, my perspective on looking at Dennis Schroder, I just thought it was an IQ, situation for himself. If you're someone that doesn't want to be boxed up, this is the only thing you're gonna have to do. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I appreciate y'all. Share, like, and subscribe. We out here. There's no doubt here. There's no drought here. You feel me? I appreciate y'all. Spread the word. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. You already know it's TRU Talks. Because TRU Talks, man. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all for real, man. Keep pushing. Keep grinding. Keep doing all of that. Keep doing all of that. I appreciate y'all, man. You already know what time it is. And I'm out, man.